Hello. This morning I'm working in my sunny back studio out here in Mirror, where spring is trying to happen. You can see my indoor flowers. Actually, the geraniums spend the summer outdoors, but if I'm very lucky, when I overwinter them, they bloom. This morning I'm working on some monoprinting on sky fabric, which is my favorite thing to do. Doing 3 winter scenes and a autumn scene actually. I'm hoping to have trees and leaves. I'm working with a covered surface using just a recycled laminate offcut that my daughter gave me. She has several in her office, and when I see her she usually gives me more. And it's taped to a piece of foam core to give it some lift, because it's not a gel plate, it's just a very thin piece of laminate. I have my roller, and I have golden open acrylic paint in black. This was sold to me by the Alberta Art and Drafting Supply in Red Deer when I told the gal I was having trouble with the regular acrylic, even with textile medium, drying so very quickly on these plates. You can see I've used this surface for this before, and I'm not averse to using it more than once, because why not? I'm very practical. Of course, I also have my water and some 505 spray, which I use to hold the paper down lightly while I'm doing the printing. I have 2 pens, ballpoint pens, just inexpensive ballpoint pens that I'm going to use for the printing. And of course my inevitable cup of coffee in one of my favorite mugs. So without further ado, I'm going to try and park this little camera somewhere where it can pick up what I'm doing. I've tested it out a little bit, and I'm going to try and park it near my hands so that you can see how I'm working today. This is a test. If it doesn't go well, you probably won't see this at all. The first thing I need to do is put the paint on the surface. You have to work quickly because this stuff dries, even with its extender, dries very quickly. And I kind of have to get a feel for how much paint you need. Of course, this stuff is, I don't have to have a really dark print, but I have to have one just dark enough so that I can stitch over it when I'm finished. So there we go. That's there. I'm actually sticking my roller in a jar to keep it from rolling away. Very quickly, going to place a couple of pieces of fabric over this, on which I am actually going to print the pieces very quickly, very lightly. Don't touch anything. Doesn't really matter for me, for my purposes today, what side of the fabric I use. And then I put my printing materials down. In this case, I spray the back lightly with the 505 and just place it lightly on top of the fabric. You can see also that I've used this design before, and until the paper is worn enough that it bothers me, I'll use it again. Don't touch anything, otherwise you get your fingerprints into it. Now I can touch the edge here, and I'm just going to trace my design that I've printed many times before. Branches of trees, just branches of trees. I have to give credit where credit is due for this technique. It is not original to me, and it's probably not original to the person I learned it from either, but I learned it from Laura Kemshall. She has a wonderful video on YouTube that you can watch to see exactly how she does this. And I've tried it, I've sampled it, I've used it several times, and I just love it. I'm not a person who likes to print on fabric. I don't like stamping and designing fabric in that way. But when I saw this video, I realized it would be very good just for simple lines. And those simple lines make wonderful grasses and wonderful branches of bushes for my work. So here I go. Just working away here. Quickly. No time to fuss about whether the branches are straight. It doesn't matter. This is kind of loosey-goosey. I don't care how straight the branches are. I can just adapt and exchange those, stitch on them. Very carefully trying not to get my finger where it would come into any part of the print that I want to use. Pressing quite hard with the pen. It doesn't matter. Paper tears at this point. I traced in blue before, so I'm using red right now so that I know I've gone over it again. But probably having used this 2 or 3 times, it's not going to be much longer that I use it. You need to know, of course, that when you're doing this, the image that you're tracing is going to be reversed on the fabric. I'm using fabric that doesn't have a right or wrong side, but if you do use a fabric that does for some reason have a right or wrong side, you need to make sure that your right side is down against the paint, because that's the side you want to see the printing on. There we go. Just about finished this piece. And just tuck, yes, I still have a little fabric left. Mark away, coming down the end here. A few more branches just sticking in for fun. Alright, time to lift off the paper very carefully. Don't like that to happen with the fabric. Lift it off very carefully, very lightly. That's why I use the 505. It keeps it. And then just turn it over. And there we have beautiful branches. A little bit of smudging on the top there, but it can be dealt with. Beautiful branches on my fabric. I'm pleased with this. Now let it dry and stitch away. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye for now.